How are you?
See, I learned my lesson. I just start now, and then y'all. Can I go?
Go ahead.
Yeah, sure.
Fabes, can I go?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. So we got a good day out here with the guys. It was the energy was there. Much better being outside than inside. So I think you could kind of feel it out there. The defense had a good day. Offense just keeps rolling what we're doing, and it's fun seeing some of these rookies get in there with the vets and get a good feel for it.
Coach Bradley.
Khalil obviously didn't get here until week 1 last year. In this phase of things, what do you say? What do you see about his presence and the way he does play?
Well, he doesn't change. He just does what he does. There's no change to his daily routine. He leads by actions. He doesn't say a whole lot unless he needs to. But that's what I think is pretty cool about his whole situation is just the fact that he plays his way, he leads his way, and the guys follow.
Now that we're a little deeper into the offseason program, with Chuck Pagano, Matt, what have you learned about him and the way that he deals with players and oversees the defense?
Well, first of all, I had zero concerns at all with him relating to players. I think that's his strength. As far as being out here on the field, it's only been a couple days, so it's neat to just see how does he call play into the backers, how do they react after a good play, a bad play, and then just getting feedback from both sides as to how they work together. And I have zero concerns. I think it's going to be exciting, and we're seeing some different looks out there that we haven't seen with Vic, and so it's been neat.
Bradley Sold, another different look. You guys listed as a tight end. Is that ideally where you see him?
Yeah, we're gonna try it out and see what he can do. He's it's a position right there at that wide tight end type spot that we could use some more depth. And Bradley has he's showed us the ability, not just off of a 2-point play or a touchdown play, but he's shown it repetitively in practice that he has the athletic ability, the hands. He's very smart. He knows how to block, all that stuff. So let's test it out and see. And when I tell you he's all in, he's all in.
What's different for you this year than last year? Have you altered anything or anything from last year changed?
Probably, if anything, maybe some slight changes within the schedule as we keep going here. The biggest thing for sure is just the fact that I know every one of these players inside out right now. Last year at this time, this is now when I'm trying to learn who they are. Now I know how they react to different situations and who they are, and I think that's a huge advantage for me.
Matt, would it also be ideal for James Daniels to be your center this year and coach?
Yeah, that's what we're looking at. We're giving them a chance to look at it and see where it's at, and we feel comfortable with it. So we're gonna again, this is the time to test it out and see. It's hard right now because you don't have pads, so we'll get into training camp and see how that goes. But I feel pretty good about it.
Coach, forgive me if you're answering this.
Yeah.
But how do the guys look to you out there today?
Pretty good. They're fast. Versus last year, which is all I have it to compare to, the speed of the plays, especially offensively, breaking the huddle, getting to their positions. They know where they're going. Now they get to just play football. They don't think as much. So you still have it with the rookies. Mitch is in and out of the huddle. He sees the defense, and so from the time that we've been out here, it's exciting. You stay cautiously optimistic that he's going to take that really big jump, which I've been saying that since I got here, that it takes time, but you can see the vision from him within the huddle and at the line of scrimmage.
What about Pagano? How has he meshed so far?
Same thing, really well. He's done well. He connects with the players really well. They like him, and so whenever you have change in life, people are hesitant to that, right? And just because it's something different, and so you got to be able to adapt now and understand. Not everything's going to be exactly the same. Give it time, test it out, and then communication is the next part. So if there's something that you really like, let them know. If there's something that you're not feeling, let them know. Talk it out, agree to disagree, whatever, and then when you get to that point, then you'll fix those issues that you have.
So what do you hope the defense accomplishes by the time you break in June in this next little phase here?
Just for them to be able to get to training camp where they can break the huddle, know his system, and just like it was for us, there's going to be some things you want to try to pick up the speed as much as you can for next year during the season, but there's going to be times where he has to, this first year, he's got to pull back a little bit and make sure that they can execute their assignments for what he's looking for, and he's got to have some realistic expectations too, that there might be a couple screw ups here or there. So to answer your question, when we get to training camp, I want them to be playing as fast as they can be possibly playing to where it can help us win games.
Cordarrelle Patterson, that's doing running plays out there, passing. Do hope that that's what he is this year, just a diverse part of the offense.
Yeah, just he's a weapon. And for us to be able to use him, you saw what New England did with him. We'll have our own stuff that we do. You'll see some of that, and you won't see some things. So, but he's a big player. You look at him, he's huge.
Yeah.
And then when you're huge and you're fast, those combinations usually work.
What do you have at swing tackle with Soul lined up with an eligible number these days?
You missed it. You weren't here. They already asked that question. You got to check it out tomorrow. No. So it's a position for us where we felt like at the Y position we could use some more depth. And Bradley is something we talked about at the end of the season and went through. We discussed it, and now we're giving him a chance. I just said earlier, it's not about the 2-point play or a touchdown catch. It's what he's showed in practice, just before practice, and it's so we're going to test it out and see what he can do.
What do you have though with swing tackle with him playing?
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed you. I didn't understand. Okay, so right now we're playing through that. We got some guys in Rashard Coward that can do some things interior and tackle wise, and then we got some other guys that are new that we'll test out too.
I know you love kicker questions.
Yeah, come on.
It's been so long.
Yeah, were you guys even watching today? I didn't see you.
We were.
Where were you?
Back there.
Oh, okay.
How did he go? So now that we're down to a 3, I guess, new guy came in. How are things going with the?
It's going well. Again, the word process is probably what sticks out to me the most. This isn't the only time those 3 kicks that you saw us test them out, since we're doing some different things, and I think Tabes and Jamie Cole are doing a great job at presenting some ideas and thoughts as to how we want to go about it, and we're just going to let the thing play out.
Are you qualified enough to offer an assessment of Eddie, the new kicker, what he brings?
As far as kicking tech,
Yeah, just what you've seen in him.
zero shot. I just know you either make it or you miss it. So that's what I work off of, and then everything else is basically up to those other guys.
Matt, to see, I apologize if
Yeah.
you already answered this, but to see all of your guys back for OTAs, what does that say about the mentality of this group?
It says a lot, and I've thanked them. I mean, we hold our guys to a pretty high standard. I think they'll be the first to tell you that. The attendance that we have right now with our players, it's absolutely. First of all, it's not surprising because I know who our guys are from last year, and then for the new players that are coming in, whether you're rookies or free agents, they're finally getting a pulse of who we are and what it means to us. And so there's nothing we can't say you got to be here, but I put ours up there as far as attendance wise, tops of the league. And saying that speaks volumes to those players. And if there's, I think they understand that how big and how important culture is to us. And right now is the time when the culture part to new people, you can really build on that.
Matt, do you have a sense when you talk about that culture of how much of that is the leftover frustration, motivation from last year to try to carry that over to this year?
Well, the culture part has always been my number one objective. And really, being a team is huge. But last year, coming in our first year, that was my number one objective. I felt like our guys, they accepted that and they worked towards creating our own identity. Now we have our identity. Now it's a matter of how do you keep it and not get complacent. So when you have leaders like we have, to be able to take charge and show by their actions, not talk about it, but come here and show up. Come here and practice hard. Yesterday we had an optional lift, and we had I want to say 98% of the guys on an optional lift. They didn't have to. They showed up, and I think that was just pretty good stuff.
Matt, last year at this time, you're trying to convince guys, and they're hoping. This year, they know what to expect, and there's expectations. How would you describe, after winning a division, after coming up short in that playoff game, the expectations? How would you describe the start of kind of the attitude?
So the start goes back to the beginning of last year. If we could have a great culture, we could have fun and do everything that we do, but if you lose and you're not very good, no one wants to be a part of that. So when you win and you have fun and you do it, most importantly, with good people throughout, I'm not just talking players, coaches, people in the building, ownership, GM, it's wildfire. It's hard to stop, and that's what we're determined to do. Is as many good people that we can get in this organization that can play football, coach football, help out. And now we did that last year. Now let's bring more and more, and let's come out here. Let's have more fun. But we won last year. We were 12 and 5. We lost in the first round playoffs. That's not good enough. So we gotta understand that. No complacency, and I think that's what our guys are driven to do right now.
How has Chuck fit in? They say seamlessly to that.
Yeah, really well. He connects so well with the players. He connects so well with his coaches. He's a big communicator. So that's one of his biggest strengths. Is this thing going to happen overnight? Absolutely not. He knew that coming in here. We had one of the best defenses in the NFL. And he knows what kind of challenge that is, because there's expectations not just from the media and from the fan base, but from his own players. They know what they did under Vic's regime, and so and his coaching staff. So I think that's going to be really neat to watch organically happen. But there's got to be some patience involved there. So that's what we'll continue to talk through.
Couple more. That was your biggest takeaway from Monday and the fun you guys had out here with all that?
We got a lot of non-throwers on this team. We got a lot of coaches that can't putt, and then we got some big guys over 300 pounds that can't eat saltine crackers. So that's what I took away. But it was here's what was pretty neat was just the fact that everybody was so into it. When we did the dodgeball game, we had only 4 out of the 10 teams could make it. And man, the players were coming up begging me while it's going on, can we have a consolation? Can we have like a buy-in? Can we have something where like we can get in and play? They wanted to play so bad, but they couldn't. They weren't good enough in the obstacle course. So they gotta feel that.
Matt, what are you not having to spend time doing right now that you were doing at this stage last year?
Scheduling. For sure, and that's that part to me is probably a big part of it. But then even more importantly, the part that goes for a new head coach that goes unnoticed is when you have a new staff, trying to forget your players and your offense and your defense, but trying to teach your staff and your own coaches what the expectations are and how you do things. That gets taken for granted. Where do you stand in practice? How do you teach this? What do you do here? What do you do there? And that was taking up a lot of time last year at this time. Finally, now I'm standing out here and practicing group install, and I almost feel like bad because I'm not saying much with our offense. It's like a car that knows how to kind of drive itself.
And how much more have you seen Mitch really embrace being a quarterback in the NFL?
Yeah.
So more community stuff, but specifically, what did you see?
Well, he's that kind of stuff. I know he's always had that, but to me, the growth right now that's just really neat to see is his ability to come out here and take. Last year I kept talking about 101. Now, without a doubt, I can say with pure conviction we're in 202 right now, and he's. I don't even need to. We don't need to have a live game to see mentally where he's at with calling the plays, where he's at with. I mean, he's doing things in the last 2 days that last year at this time he wasn't even close to. So that's exciting. You won't always see it right now. It's more of a pass emphasis. So if you see a lot of incompletions in practice, there's not a lot of run going on in these camps. It's hard because you get guys to the ground. So with the rules, there's a lot more passing. So, but that's good. You get some timing down with a guy like Allen Robinson that wasn't here at this time. Good. Thank you.
Breathing room.
Chuck,
How smooth is it?
What are your impressions of this group that you inherited now that you've gotten a chance to work with them on the field?
Probably same as when I obviously had an opportunity to watch these guys for a year from afar. High football character, football IQ is off the charts. Obviously the talent is there. Vic and the staff did a phenomenal job last year. We all know, how well this defense did. They love football. They love playing football. We've had great attendance, great participation. They love each other. They just love playing the game. So it's been a real pleasure. We got a long way to go, obviously, but they're doing a great job.
How smooth is the transition going in terms of seeing what they see in the classroom? Transferring out here, I know you've only been over 2 OTAs.
Yeah, again, they've been really good, and they've been intentional. They've been deliberate. We talk about be where your feet are, so they've been engaged. They've been present. You can tell we've thrown a lot at them. that's on purpose. We're seeing what sticks, throwing a lot of mud at the wall and seeing what sticks, but they've done a great job. And there's good retention. You don't see a lot of mental errors right now, so it's our second time through our install, so they're hearing it for the second time, which helps. By the time we get to the mandatory minicamp, it'll be the third time, and then come training camp, it'll be the fourth time for them. So they're doing a good job there.
Chuck, what's left the biggest impression on you about working with Khalil?
Again, I mean, you got a phenomenal athlete. All that stuff. He's a great football player, but he's a better teammate and he's a better person. He doesn't say much, but actions speak louder than words. And again, he's a great worker. He's a smart guy. He picks things up. He's not going to say much, but out here on the football field, he's going to lead by example.
Chuck, the guy says you came out with a lot of intensity. How did you do that?
Say that one more time.
The guy said that you came out when you first started talking to them with a lot of intensity. How did you do that?
You're off. I was energized. Yeah, I had time to reset, recharge. So again, when you've what you love has been taken away from you, and now you have an opportunity to be back doing what you love. That's coaching and being around great coaches and great players and guys that love ball. It's real easy. And the culture around here, you got to have energy and you got to have juice. And if you don't have energy and you don't have juice and you don't have passion, you're going to stick out like a sore thumb. Probably not going to be around long.
What do you think the prospects are for somebody like Roquan Smith in his second year?
Again, you talk about football character and you talk about football IQ. We know the measurables. He's one of the brightest, smartest guys I've been around for just a second-year player. I mean, he's phenomenal. And again, he's very quiet. He doesn't say much. He'd be a great poker player because you can never read, what's going on inside his head, and doesn't show a lot of emotion, but he's absorbing everything. He takes everything in, and guy doesn't make mistakes. And out on the football field, he does a lot of things that you can't coach.
Chuck, do you see any obvious comparisons personnel-wise between this group and the group you ran back in Baltimore?
There's a ton. Again, I go back to the football character. We had a bunch of guys that love football and love playing for one another. The football IQ is very, very high. These guys study the game, they know the game, and they spend a lot of time with each other studying the game. And then just from a athletic standpoint, personnel standpoint, the team that Coach Nagy and Ryan have put together, front to back. I mean, you got speed, you got athleticism, at all three levels, and they work great together. They communicate really well together. So you got to have pass rushers. We got that. You got to have corners who can cover. We got that. You got to have guys that can run and hit, and we've got that. So a lot of parallels there, a lot of similarities.
Chuck, as a defensive coaching staff, what's the biggest challenge during this period where you're throwing mud up against the wall and you're probably going to overwhelm your players at times and just trying to get it on the right track?
Yeah, that's okay. That's what we want to see. We want to see, how much they can grasp, see what sticks. Don't panic. Come out here. It's now an opportunity. Phase 1 and phase 2, you really can't do much. You do a lot of mental stuff, a lot of walkthrough. Offensively, you can run, routes on air and plays on air and things like that. So it's a little bit bigger challenge for the defense. We won't make excuses, but now that we have an opportunity to line up across from somebody, we're just figuring out where we're at, and what we have. And it's a great opportunity for the guys to see where they're at from a mental standpoint, see where they're at physical standpoint, and just try to come out here every day to get better.
Chuck, when Clinton Dix is playing at his best, how will that look in your defense?
Again, he was Pro Bowler, if my mind, doesn't escape me, in 2016. So he's as good as he wants to be. So he's doing a great job, like everybody else. Again, we got a long way to go. He's got a long way to go. But it seems like he's making an easy transition. He's been a part of this system. So from a terminology standpoint, there's some carryover for him, which helps him.
What skill set stands out to you with him?
Well, he's got length. He's got length. Again, he's got great instincts. He's got ball skills. So everything you're looking for a safety, because he can play down the box. He can play, in the deep parts of the zone. So, and then you can match him up and put him on backs and tight ends and things like that. So he's got all the skill set necessary to do all those things.
In the install period, have you gotten a sense for how much overlap there is with what Vic had done here previously?
Yeah, again, we're still working through that. Again, it would be foolish not to have on my part not to have some carryover, considering what they've done. So Vic and I were together at one point, in Baltimore. So there's some common threads that run through both systems, and that's a good thing for these guys and for myself.
But to be clear, you will put your own stamp on it, some of your own language, so to speak.
Yeah, time will tell.
Chuck, Eddie has a knack for not only turning the ball over but taking it to the house. You've been with another player in the past who's pretty good at that. I know. Do you have to fight the urge to maybe make some comparisons, or I'm doing it for you, so you don't have to worry about it?
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, no. Again, from a talent standpoint, very, very similar. Great instincts, got great range, great ball skills. He's only 3 years into it. So Ed has a lot more time on task, obviously, but he's got a lot of the same traits, and he loves football. He's a football junkie, and again, he's I think the sky's the limit for a guy like that, because when the defense and you know what you're doing, and then you can spend all your time figuring out the offense and being one step ahead. That's where he's got an edge on everybody. That's very similar to Reed.
Chuck, I know it's only 2 practices, but what indicators do you look for that tell you they're getting it?
Well, again, you go in and you grade the tape, and if we have a bunch of mental errors, down after down after down, and we got guys running free through the back end, things like that, then you say, okay, maybe we need to pump the brakes and slow down. That didn't happen, day one. Again, there's going to be stuff to clean up. There's going to be mistakes made, but again, these guys have done a great job to this point.
What's the value in having a guy like Danny Trevathan, a vocal leader who's been in the league for a while, in the middle of that defense to help with this transition?
Yeah, a veteran guy who, that guy that stands in front of your defense, in front of those 10 other guys in the whole room, they respect him, and he commands that respect. And he's one of the hardest working guys out here. He knows this system inside and out. He's one of the first guys in. He's the last guy to leave. So he commands that respect, and he does a great job from an accountability standpoint, a leadership standpoint, where he's going to hold himself accountable, but then in the right way he can bring people along with him and hold each other accountable, hold his teammates accountable.
When you say he knows the system inside and out, has he been able to communicate that to his teammates so far? I know it's only 2 practices.
Yeah, I mean, you just go watch him in the meeting room, you watch him in walkthroughs, you watch him through phase 1 and phase 2, and now at practice here, they're talking all the time. Whether he's in the the huddle and they're taking reps at the first unit, or if he's on the side taking mental reps, they're talking all the time. So that communication is outstanding.
At this juncture, is being back in coaching as enjoyable as you thought it would be?
Yeah, as much as it ever has been for me. Again, when you get it taken away from you, it was great to have time off to do some things that I hadn't been able to do in 33 years. But again, you ask any player that's been let go or been put on the street and then given another opportunity and have another team, another locker room, coaches to be around, players to be around, come out here and run around like a kid again, and there's nothing better.
Chuck, I know you haven't had a lot of time to get to know these guys as people yet, but I assume you've been buried in tape at times. How well do you feel the individual talent levels at this point, and how much more do you have to learn about that?
Again, having a year to just sit back and watch the entire league and then watch these guys, I feel like you have a pretty good handle on what these guys are capable of and what they can do. So now from a mental standpoint, you keep putting the scheme together, see what sticks there and what they can grasp, and at the end of the day, we got to do a great job of putting them in position to be successful.
So you immediately began building things into your scheme based on what you had here to work with?
Yeah, again, we're not going to try to jam square peg into a round hole. We're going to try to do what they do best, and so like if 52 is going that way, 1,000 times, this fall instead of that way, probably got a good chance of being pretty good.
Chuck, during your time in Indianapolis, you knew who your kicker was going to be every week. How do you describe that comfort?
You just said it. Very comforting. Sleep well at night, knowing you have Adam, at the helm, and he's the GOAT. He's the greatest of all time, So, yeah, it's a good feeling. We'll get there.
Chuck, when it comes to Leonard Floyd, is it just staying healthy that is the key to consistency, or what?
I think that's for everybody. You talk about abilities, reliability, accountability, coachability. Availability is probably the number one ability that a player can have. And so that goes for everybody. And again, he's doing a great job. He takes care of himself. He's weight room, the treatment, all those kind of things. And his guys get time on task, and they become, fourth-year guys, fifth-year guys, sixth-year guys. They get better at that. So that's for anybody out here right now. Thank you.
Over here, hi.
Hey, Stacey.
You've been around a lot of quarterbacks. I'm just curious of your impressions of Mitch.
Yeah, I like Mitch, and Mitch is a really good leader. Mitch is a smart guy. Mitch puts a tremendous amount of time in. Like Danny on the defensive side, that signal caller, he's really the first guy in the building and the last to leave. He does a great job. You can tell, having not been through the off season from a year ago, and really don't have a comparison of where he's at today compared to last year at this time, and picking up the system and things. I just can tell from an efficiency standpoint, accuracy standpoint, arm talent, he can make all the throws. He's making great decisions out here. He's getting the ball in the open receiver's hands. So it looks like he's, really comfortable with the system right now and where he's at, and only going to get better. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
Larry.
Hang on.